everyone. Welcome to another episode of NIKKIJOMAZING. We have DJ EFN on the show, a.k.a. Who's Crazy, a.k.a. Crazy Hood, a.k.a. Miami's Mixtape King. Welcome to the show.
A.k.a. Drink Champs.
A.k.a. Drink Champs. So over the years, you have not only branded yourself as being a major part of Miami's hip-hop scene, but you have multiple brands and you've made it a business. Right. So you have started Crazy Hood Film Academy. Correct. You did Hood DJs.
Correct.
You have crazyhood.com.
Correct.
You have done a radio show, I believe, college radio.
Several radio shows. Yeah, pirate radio
shows.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely amazing. I just wanted to ask a few questions. So you did an article with the 305.com recently that was absolutely amazing. And in there you quoted, "To move forward in hip-hop, you must know and recognize what was behind you in this fast information age because it is easy to forget." Whoa. So, when did you first realize that hip-hop was a passion of yours, and when did you realize you were going to take that passion and make it a business?
Just that article actually was an MTV article, and the article that you read on 305 was the unedited version. What had happened was MTV, when they did the VMAs in Miami, they did this whole thing called Miami Week, and they had guest bloggers on their website, and they had Luke as one of them, and then they approached me to do one. So they were like, write whatever you want about Miami, like hip hop. And I said I wanted to write about the scene that nobody's talking about.
And he snapped.
And yeah, so what happened was when I turned in my article, maybe because they didn't know the scene or what I was talking about, they edited it and it changed the dynamic of the article. So I felt like I needed to get the proper unedited version out, and I went to the 305.com, and that's the unedited version that you saw, and that's the full version. So
wow.
Just wanted to...
Well, make sure you guys read that on 305.com. It's an incredible article and talks about the whole history of Miami's hip-hop scene. So this is an incredibly tough industry, especially in South Florida. I think that we all agree. So what do you think differentiates an artist in South Florida in whether they make it or not in this industry?
Well, one of the things geographically, we are in a difficult position in South Florida because for artists to survive, touring is a big part of it. And just to get out of Florida, there's like 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours to get out. And
it's a huge state.
So I manage the group Mayday, for example. And
shout out to Mayday.
Mayday all day long. And one of our struggles has been is that to move this band to tour, we have to, let's just say if someone wants to book us, there is such a cost to move this band out of Florida, out of South Florida. So that's one of the big hurdles for any artist out of Miami, because if you want to go to the middle of the United States, you first have to get out of Florida, and that's just a hurdle by itself, because we are this panhandle, we're like all the way down here. We're like literally this banana republic state. We're practically in Cuba right now, you know what I'm saying?
Basically.
And we have to, it takes so long to get out. Like if you think about it, if you're in the middle of the United States, you turn in any direction, and in a couple hours you're out of that state. Not for South Floridians, it's a lot. It's a big movement. Yeah. So that's one of the biggest hurdles for artists in South Florida.
And speaking of quotes, because you made that incredible quote in the 305.com article, there was one quote that I found in one of your documentaries that said, "Wherever we find hip-hop, we find home." Correct. That are connected with you and that know you even through social media, they know that you have a gift for creative quotations. Right. I believe that you label them as your brain fart of the day.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
So
I didn't think anybody noticed that, but okay.
Oh, absolutely. I love quotations.
Okay, dope.
So
honestly, the way the brain farts come is like, I might not fart for days. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah, straight up. Like literally, like those things just come to my mind. I'm like, that's pretty dope. And I just tweet it at the moment, Well, you need to make sure that you follow DJ EFN and all his social media so you can check out all of his brain farts of the day.
All right, dope. So you mentioned that you manage Mayday. So what was your first encounter with them?
It goes back. One of the first things that I did as Crazy Hood, I established Crazy Hood in 1993 right out of high school with all my friends these are some of my friends from high school here. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to do music because at that time in Miami hip hop, it didn't make sense for anybody to want to do hip hop out of Miami. There was no scene, there was nothing going on. So when I thought of the idea of doing a hip hop company out of Miami, people were like, "That's stupid. Like, there's no scene here. You're not in New York. You're not in LA. You know, like that doesn't make sense." So the only thing that we could do at that time was do like parties. And at that time, there was no hip hop clubs, and there was no hip hop on the radio. So the hip hop parties were literally parties, like ranch parties, warehouse parties, stuff like that. So the first thing we did was a warehouse party, sort of say. Actually, it wasn't even it was in a car body shop. We hijacked my friend's father's car body shop. His father didn't know we were doing it. We took out the cars.
Sorry, Dad.
We cleaned up the spot, and we threw a party. And I had, unbeknownst to myself at the time, there was a group called All the King's Men. And one of the guys went to junior high with me at Arvida. And the other two guys happened to be Bernie and Plex from Mayday, that later became Mayday.
Wow.
And it was the first time that they performed. Because right from the get, I knew I wanted to support local artists. My whole thing was having this whole local thing. Because in that time period, people were representing heavily New York in Miami. There was a big New York influx.
Yeah.
So they actually labeled all hip-hop heads in Miami New Yorkers. And we were very against that, because I'm originally born in Los Angeles. Some of my friends are born in different places. A lot of my friends are from Miami. We all felt very strongly like we are Miami hip-hop heads. Like, not New Yorkers, not this, not that, not that. We are Miami hip-hop. So we wanted to support local artists, local DJs, and that's the first, I'm giving you a long story for the first time with Mayday, but that's my first encounter with Mayday. They performed at one of the first things I did is Crazy Hood, and this is 1994.
Wow.
No, 1993. I'm lying to you.
Mayday has done many accomplishments lately. They've been on continuous tours, and also they got signed to Strange Music label. So how does it feel to know that you help like manage and you help basically like direct them into like the right path for them? So how does it feel that they're already this far, so far?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I wanted to get involved in early on was development and management of artists. If I could rap, I'd rap. I'd actually tried rapping. I'm not a great rapper at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a DJ, and I'm an okay DJ. I just love music, and I want to be a part of the development of it. So when I got on board, and there's been different progressions with Mayday, but as of recently, the situation I'm in with Mayday, it's been about 6 years, maybe 5-6 years. I mean, just to get in there, get involved, you know that they're talented. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you know someone's talented and you're just gonna come in there and just add little things to help the progress of that, like, there's nothing better to see that.
Did they always
work.
have that stage presence too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Always. And then, you know, it used to be, it was, and remember, I mean, I don't know if you guys know how far back Mayday goes. Mayday was originally a 2-band group that was just a regular hip hop band, like group, not even band, group. And then it progressed into a band with you know, with actual instruments, and then recognized as a solo artist that then became a part of Mayday.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I've worked with Rec before he was a part of Mayday. So it all came together when they were all together on stage, and I was like, this is amazing, this is magic.
This is it.
And I'm gonna get involved in this. And I have partners in the management too. I have a partner in LA, Kether and Andrea.
Yes.
And we call ourselves the trifecta management in terms of Mayday. And I mean, it's been an amazing ride, you know, and it's definitely, you're seeing the fruits of our labor.
Yes, congratulations on that.
Okay, so you are always working, and you not only have this incredible collection of mixtapes, but now you are coming out with your own original album called Another Time. So can you please give our viewers a little bit on the release date and maybe who's featured on this original album?
So yeah, Another Time is a project I'm working on. It's a long time in the making. It's an original project. A lot of people that know me from the past, I'm known as a mixtape DJ of Miami, like the original dude, the most consistent mixtape DJ coming out of Miami. And it's the natural progression for a lot of mixtape DJs to create projects. You see the Khaleds, you see the Static Selectors, you see the DJ Dramas, and I've never went there. Not that I didn't want to, but I've had other business ventures, Mayday, whatever, that I've put my energy in. Now I'm taking the time to do my own project. It's called Another Time, meaning that a lot of my inspiration comes from the golden age of hip hop, and that's meaning another time. That's the
Our favorite era.
for that title. And so the idea behind the project is having a lot of legends on it, people that were part of that era, having new artists, because in the spirit of mixtapes, as DJs, we are supposed to break new artists. You know what I'm saying? Having a lot of representation in terms of Miami, that's a big part of it because that was always a part of the whole my mixtape series. So some of the artists you might hear on there is, let's say like I have a lot of West Coast influences being that I'm originally from the West Coast. So you'll have like MCA, King T, you might see Corrupt on the project, and then
I like how he says might.
well, it's still in the making.
Okay.
It's in the making. You'll hear on the other side, you have DJ Premier on production on something. You might have my own producers, Big Drains on there. Beats in the
Shout out to Big Drain.
Yeah, shout out to Big Drain, Let Her Mercy. Beats in the Hood. Then in terms of like Miami, going back to the golden era for Miami, I have this artist called Mother Superior, which a lot of people might not be familiar with, but she is, in my opinion, like the pinnacle of Miami hip hop, of what it could have been. There's a long story. We're actually gonna launch. We're gonna post this interview with her. It's gonna like talk about what happened with her career, and hopefully my project and me working with her will kind of like put her out there again. You know. Yeah, I don't know if she wants to necessarily. You know, I don't want to speak for her, but I definitely am really excited to have her on my project and work with her. And she's really dope. And she's the person that coined the phrase "the bottom." And
I read that in the article.
Yeah, so I have a freestyle coming out next week with her article where I have her rhyming on "Started from the Bottom," the Drake record. Like, I'm a big fan of that record, and people are like, "Damn, you really love Drake." No, it's really reminiscent of the term "the bottom," and it always makes me think of her record, which she had a record called "The Rock Bottom," and that's where everybody got the term "the bottom" when they talk about Miami, and nobody knows it. Well, a lot of people don't know it's because of her, and they used to call her the female Nas. And I do believe that had she come out, because she was one of the first hip hop artists signed out of Miami, had she come out, like they shelved her and they never put her album out. Had she come out, the landscape of Miami hip hop would be completely different.
You are like a living encyclopedia of South Florida hip hop. So dope. So dope.
EFN. I know in 2012 you got together with Garcia and created this amazing documentary called Coming Home. You went to Cuba to capture the hip hop culture in Cuba. What lessons did you learn being in another country and how their hip hop community is?
We went to Cuba and we did the documentary Coming Home. And originally, it wasn't necessarily, I mean, we definitely wanted to link with the hip hop heads in Cuba, but it started out as us connecting with our roots. Because as Cuban Americans, especially growing up in Miami, you kind of like, there's this whole thing about Cuba. It's like very taboo. You don't go to Cuba, you know, it's bad, you know. So it got to a point where I've always said to myself, I want to go before Castro dies, because I want to go before I see McDonald's and Taco Bell at Cuba. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's untouched.
yeah, I wanted to go there, and even though it's falling apart, I wanted it to feel like there was the remnants of what maybe my family lived in. So when I got the opportunity to go, and I had met a friend, Eric, another guy named Eric, I'm Eric as well, Eric Vasquez.
To his government on TV.
That's fine.
now.
That's EFN. It's my government initials. Yeah. So my boy Eric Vasquez, he actually knew Denai Suarez, and he had told me about her.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, you know, if you want to go, I've gone out there. I'll take you, and she will be our guide, her and her family." And I was like, "Yo, let's do this." And we went out there, and it was nothing like I expected it to be. You know, I went with all the preconceived notions of what Cuba should be, and be nervous about certain things, and we went there without a political like agenda. Exactly. Great. And I wanted to go connecting with music because I felt hip hop, you know, would be neutral. So as hip hop heads, we want to meet other hip hop heads, and let's just try to keep away from the rest of the other shit. And we went there, and we stayed with a family. We call it a lo cubano. Like, we didn't stay at a hotel. Like, you can stay at a nice hotel in Cuba. No, we went hood. You know, we stayed right next to Denai's crib in her neighbor's house. And Denai was our host, and she took us around, and we recorded with the artists, and it was an amazing experience. And what we learned in Cuba is that the one thing that's happened in Cuba is that hip-hop got through beyond the embargo. You know, they're in a capsule, basically. So hip-hop got through, and the golden era of hip hop got through, and it stayed stuck with them.
Wow.
And what's dope is that they really articulated to us that we lost the essence of hip hop in America. And I thought that was dope. And so when we came back and we made our film, and the film has been pretty successful, it was our first film ever. We didn't mean to be filmmakers.
Didn't it win an award?
Yes,
I believe it did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we won some festival awards. We went to festivals. It got picked up, and it got picked up by Revolt TV. And they're still airing it to this day. It's a 2-year license that they did with us. And we were inspired from that to create a series now called Coming Home, the series. And it's not like we're going to different countries, kind of like a la Anthony Bourdain, and we're exploring countries through hip hop. And we went to Peru. The next film is Peru. We went to Machu Picchu and everything, and we explored hip hop in Peru, and that's the next film. It's Coming Home Peru, and then we're going to Haiti, Coming Home Haiti.
Wow.
And we hope to go Coming Home Jamaica, and Coming Home Brazil, and Coming Home Vietnam, and those are the next couple of countries. Actually, a lot of places we went, Cuba included, and Peru, Colombia has a huge. Actually, Denai went to do a show, 20,000 people. Wow. Public Enemy was the headliner, and she was the co-headliner. Huge. Yeah, I want to go to Colombia. It's a priority as well.
When does the Coming Home for the Peru edition?
We're editing right now. It's all independent still. It's just us. And it should be hopefully done within the next month or two. And then we'll probably do like a local screening of the film, and you guys will definitely be invited. And then from that point on, what we're shopping, Revolt is interested and different people are interested, but we haven't locked in a deal. But, this is like a passion project, and whether we have a deal or do it, that's how we've done everything. We're independent. So we're going to, like, Haiti's already on the books. We're going to Haiti at the end of October, and everybody thinks we're crazy, but, I mean...
Who's crazy?
Who's crazy?
Who's crazy?
EFN's crazy.
I think that's a great project that you guys are building. I mean, everybody will be able to see different roots of hip hop in states that we might think, or countries that we might think don't have it. So I think it's great, and congrats on it, for real. Now, to get a little bit of your opinion on the hip hop scene here, I know you've been in the hip hop for years now, and hip hop grows daily with artists, producers, DJs, everything in the works. Do you feel that hip hop is in a good path as it is now here in Miami, or is it missing something? What's your opinion on it?
I think the political answer is to say it's in a good place, but it's not, only because, or I don't want to say it's not. It's in an all right place. It's not in a bad place. But what people think is good about right now, luckily because I've been around for a while, I've seen the different, trends comes and goes of Miami. And it's nothing new what's happening now, and I still see the negative things that have always happened. Where everybody's like, yeah, Miami's on its way up, yeah, we're doing it, blah, blah, blah. But really, people don't seem to have an idea of what it takes to build a scene. Miami is a transient city, and people don't realize that, and they do, but that's the problem for Miami. That nobody seems to be from Miami.
The loyalty.
So it's hard to create a loyal fan base. And it's not just, we can't just blame hip hop, because that's the problem for businesses in Miami as well. For example, Miami's one of the worst cities in terms of ticket sales for concerts.
Yes. The most unintended shows.
Yes. And what happens is, and I blame that on a couple things. My personal opinion of that is that Miami's such we all think we're celebrities. So it's like, why would I pay to go to the AAA when I can go and pay to go to live and probably sit next to the dude and pop a bottle with homie? That's what people, I think they feel. And then, we all think, whatever, that Miami has that vibe about it. But in terms of the scene, the hip hop scene specific, there are some good things that I'm seeing. There are some good artists. But I think what's going to excel and what's really going to make the difference is that they need to, involve people, a lot of people, and they need to go back. The problem is these new artists that I've noticed, they don't know the history of Miami. And this is what I'm taking the role on, because OGs and old school or whatever, I don't like to say old school for me, because there's an old school. There's the 80s for me, that's old school for me. And I'm a 90s cat. So I just like to say I'm an OG. But we need to tell you, we need to say this is what was happening. We need to teach you because you need to know that there was something before you and there is a history. Because what happens is these new artists think, oh, I'm the first, or I'm doing this, or I'm hot, or I'm dope, or there's nobody ever did this. So we need to show people that there was something. And when they realize, wow, there was all this before me, instead of saying I'm not new and being maybe like, oh, that's whack. No, be proud that your city has a rich history. And if you realize that there's a rich history, then to me that's a scene, you know? Yeah. So.
I hope you guys took notes.
Perfect. So we have a new segment here on NIKKIJOMAZING. It's called the Fast Round. I'm gonna name either a person or thing, okay? And you have to say either if it's crazy or is it hood, okay? First thing, Miami.
Hood.
Jolly Ranchers.
Crazy.
Shape-shifting lizards.
Totally crazy.
Ferguson.
Neutral.
Latinas.
Crazy and hood.
Gucci Man.
He's crazy.
Tech Nine.
Crazy.
Nicki's Anaconda.
Oh. Crazy hood, amazing.
So that ends our fast round. So this concludes our very exclusive interview with DJ EFN. So check us out soon. NIKKIJOMAZING, y'all.
Word.
Peace.
Peace. I was lost.
Yes, I went like a little bit.
My own album, I don't know.
Yes, it's part blooper.